ASUS ROG RTX 4090 Evangelion GPU is now available in China. AMD's next generation Ryzen 8000 APU has been spotted with 16 RDNA 3.5 GPU cores. Noctua has unveiled their NH-U12A for their Intel next generation LGA 1851 socket. And lastly, RTX 4060 Ti 16 got a price cut of less than $450, cheaper than the RX 7700 XT.
This is Tech Track.
Okay, firstly, we're looking at an IT Home article here, and this is the ROG RTX 4090 Evangelical or Evangelion, whatever you want to call that. Basically, it's an anime character. I'm not sure. I'm not an anime fan, so I don't really know what character that is. But if you are, then you might recognize that. And this is the Evangelion Production Model 2. This is the GPU we're looking at here, and this is the ASUS ROG Strix, but basically reskinned. The price they're asking for is quite a lot. I don't know why they're asking for this amount of pricing, because when we convert the price, just Chinese pricing, of course, the RMB pricing to USDs, it's around 2,480 for this GPU RTX 4090. Well, as long as I'm concerned, the RTX 4090, well, the ASUS variant, basically the Strix variant, was around $2,000. This one is $480 more premium, which I don't know why, but I guess reskinning makes it legit. Honestly, this is not worth the price at all. So this is the RTX 4090 Evangelion, and that's the back plate, which is looking good enough. It's not that bad. It's a reddish accent, so not a bad looking card, just the fact that it is way too much premium, that's for sure. So yeah, interesting looking card, but the pricing, well, not worth the price. That's for sure. Next up, we have a leak from HXL, and this is a very interesting leak because this is a leak from Performance Database. That's the tag. And well, as you can see, AMD Zen 5 Strix 1 APU update. So Performance Database have confirmed this, or basically leaked it. And it's an interesting leak because if you look right over here, this is a AMD Radeon, well, the APU at the iGPU we're talking about here, which is the Strix Point APU. And as you can see, it supports, well, the AMD Radeon RDNA 3.5 that was leaked previously, but now we have more confirmation of how many CUs it will come with. And as you can see, the shader unified is basically 1024. Well, if you look into the ROPs and TMUs, 16 times 64 is 1024, meaning that 16 RDNA CUs or RDNA cores will be coming with this particular APU here. That's the Strix Points APU. That's probably the premium APU as long as I'm concerned, and yes, it's coming with 16 RDNA 3.5 cores. So interesting to see that it's gonna be a lot more than usual. Like obviously it's a quite a lot. It's a good APU, that's for sure. The Strix Point 8050 16 RDNA cores is not a joke. It's a lot. So that's pretty good. Hopefully the performance will be pretty good too. But there's one error right over here. As you can see, it says GDDR6 SDRAM, which is an error. I would say it's probably GDDR5. As is the case, because GDDR6 doesn't really exist. Or GDDR6 does exist, but DDR6 don't exist, right? So I think that is wrong for an APU here. It should say it's GDDR5, but DDR5 I should say. But anyway, that's not a big deal here. That's an error, but we do get to see how many RDNA 3.5 cores will be coming, which is 16 of them, and that's a lot of cores there for an APU, of course. So in summary, we're looking at this. As you can see, this is from the video cards spec list here, and as you can see, the Strix Points, the premium APU, will be monolithic that, of course. The Ryzen 8050, that's the naming scheme they're going for, and the GPU cores we're looking is, or I should say the CPU cores we're looking at is 12 cores. Basically, there's a big dot little design, and we get to see 4 times Zen 5 and 8 times Zen 5C cores. So that is expected. And of course, GPU cores we're looking at now is 16 CU of RDNA 3.5. Basically, I believe the 3.5 meaning would be the RDNA 4 and RDNA 3 mixed together. I guess that would be the case. Basically meaning that the features, the ray tracing features of RDNA 4 will be available in RDNA 3.5, but the standard restoration is basically from RDNA 3. That is my understanding from RDNA 3.5. And also the default TDP, we're looking at 28 to 54 watts, so that is expected again. So I'm guessing this would be available in the mobile processors, or could be also for standard CPUs. Who knows? That we will see about that. Desktop or mobile, doesn't matter, it's coming. Next up, in Akiba forum, we get to see this interesting leak here, and that's the CPU cooler for the Intel LGA 1851, basically the latest Intel Arrow Lake, basically. So it's gonna be very interesting to see that. But firstly, we're looking at this CPU cooler here, which is the NH-U12A, and we have more defined pictures of this. And as you can see, this is the processor or cooler we're looking at here, which is really interesting looking, that's for sure. I really like it. Look at this, pretty neat, isn't it? So yeah, it's a neat looking cooler, small enough, but also the socket is the main factor. I believe the design hasn't been changed that much. It looks the same as the usual ones. As you can see, maybe there could be more fins. That's a possibility. Also, 2-fan design, so better cooling. And that's the LG 1851. Well, the area, of course. So that would support the processors. For the Arrow Lake, which hasn't been released yet, but soon enough it will, hopefully, because we're still looking at the cooler already from Noctua. And as you can see, that it does say NH-U12A 120mm U-type premium CPU cooler. And it also comes with 6 years of manufacturing warranty expected from Noctua, so that's pretty good. And that's the box that also got leaked. So everything has been leaked already, so the full production has been completed, and it's just the store availability, of course. So it was spotted on a store, which is interesting because Arrow Lake hasn't been launched yet, so what this is, I don't know why this is doing in a store, so interesting. So yeah, this cooler is looking pretty good, of course, for the Arrow Lake, which still hasn't been released yet. We'll see about that. But, well, I think the time is coming real soon, because, you know, cooler has been manufactured already, so that tells you something, right? Next up, we have something interesting. As you can see, it's the PNY GeForce RTX 4060 Ti 16 gigs Virtual Dual Fan, of course. And look at the pricing of this, $430. Remember, it was $500 card, right? Now we're looking at $430 for this. And if you already know, the RTX 4060 Ti is going head-to-head with RX 7700 XT, or in some cases it loses compared to the RX 7700 XT. And it's very much clear why they're pricing RTX 4060 Ti to $430 or even $450 some cases, but that's the cheapest one we're looking at here is the $430, and I guess that's expected because PNY doesn't make cheap cards. Not sure about the cooling though, it might not be, you know, cooled well, but then again, RTX 4060 Ti is not that much power hungry card anyway, so I believe that would be fine. We're also looking at the MSI Ventus GeForce RTX 4060 Ti 16 gigs, and it's $450. Same with the MSI. Again, this is a different store, but yes, the Ventus 2X Black also getting $450, and the ASUS Dual GeForce RTX 4060 Ti 16 gigs will be getting $450 as well. So it tells you something. Competition is good for consumers because RX 7700 XT outperforms 4060 Ti in certain cases, also loses in certain cases, but in general it will be better compared to the RX 6800, meaning that RTX 4060 Ti doesn't stand a chance. So in that sense, it is expected for RTX 4060 Ti to go down in pricing, and well, this one is the better deal here because $430 for RTX 4060 Ti, I mean, it's kind of good, you know. And this is what Nvidia never had done before, which is the craziest part. They usually don't do that, reduce the pricing to, you know, leverage the consumers. But now we're looking at a similar situation here now that they are reducing the price because RX 7700 XT outperforms 4060 Ti, and $500 you wouldn't want to spend $500 for RTX 4060 Ti, so it is understandable. And I appreciate Nvidia for doing that, honestly, because that opens up more competition, right? So consumer, at the end of the day, wins.